You ever hear the one about the fake Saudi prince who almost conned his way into a multi-million-dollar hotel deal, but got caught because he ordered prosciutto at dinner? Welcome back to the Hollywood Con, where we dive deep into the glitzy world of scams, schemes, and the con artists who fooled the rich and famous. Today's story is about a man who spent his life pretending to be royalty. His name is Anthony Gignac, but to the world, he was known as Prince Khalid bin al-Saud of the Saudi royal family. Except he wasn't. Let's rewind. Anthony Gignac was born in Colombia in 1970 and adopted by a middle-class family in Michigan. From a young age, he was obsessed with wealth and status. By the time he was a teenager, he was already pretending to be royalty. His favorite identity? A Saudi prince. Because why just dream of riches when you can lie your way into them? He began pulling scams as early as the 1990s. Gignac convinced high-end retailers to front him goods on credit, claiming his Saudi accounts would cover it later. He booked luxury suites, dined at top restaurants, and convinced investors to wire him cash. He had aliases, fake diplomatic plates, forged documents, and an attitude that screamed entitlement. He was arrested multiple times across the 90s and early 2000s, but every time he got out, he went right back to the same game. His biggest trick? Confidence. Gignac had a natural ability to make people feel like he belonged in every room he walked into. But the real scam started to snowball in the 2010s when Gignac moved his operations to Miami, the perfect playground for someone who loved fast cars, designer clothes, and ocean view penthouses. He began going by Prince Khalid bin al-Saud full-time. He wore traditional robes, used fake security details, and demanded to be called His Royal Highness. He bought a penthouse in Sunny Isles Beach, owned multiple high-end vehicles, including a Ferrari with fake diplomatic license plates, and filled his closets with designer clothes and Rolex watches. He dropped names of real Saudi royals, posed as a billionaire investor, and bragged that his family's oil fortune could fund anything. He set up a fake investment company called Martin Williamson International, claiming it was backed by billions in Saudi oil money. With a LinkedIn profile full of buzzwords, a slick team of cronies, and an Instagram account flaunting watches, jets, and Bentleys, he started pitching himself to Miami's real estate elite. And people believed him. In 2015, Gignac set his sights on a high-stakes deal with billionaire Jeffrey Soffer, the owner of the Fontainebleau Hotel in Miami Beach. Gignac claimed he wanted to purchase a 30% stake in the iconic hotel, and to back it up, he promised a whopping $440 million investment. Soffer was intrigued but cautious. At first glance, Gignac seemed to have all the trappings of a wealthy investor: a luxury lifestyle, a long paper trail of supposed business ventures, and the royal title. But then came the red flags. For starters, Gignac traveled without any security, which was odd for someone claiming to be a high-ranking Saudi royal. He showed up to meetings in traditional Middle Eastern robes, but didn't speak Arabic. Then came the moment that truly raised eyebrows. At a business dinner, Gignac ordered prosciutto, a type of pork that is forbidden in Islamic law. Soffer and his associates were stunned. That small detail sparked serious doubts about Gignac's identity. Things only got more suspicious when Gignac kept making excuses about wiring funds, delays, errors, vague explanations. It started to look like smoke and mirrors. Soffer quietly hired private investigators to look into his background. When Gignac wasn't chasing multi-million-dollar hotel deals. He was living a cartoonishly lavish lifestyle. He traveled with a small entourage who treated him like royalty, even though most of them had no idea he was a fraud. He threw wild parties in luxury suites, handed out fake Rolex watches, and reportedly tipped in cash-stuffed envelopes. He once stayed for weeks at the Fontainebleau hotel itself, leaving unpaid tabs for thousands in champagne, spa treatments, and penthouse upgrades. He had private chefs flown in for gourmet dinners, invited models and socialites to dine with him, and always had a security team nearby to boost the illusion of importance. And then there were the women. Gignac was often seen entertaining aspiring actresses and influencers, telling them he could finance their careers. He promised movie roles, modeling contracts, even arranged fake meetings with supposed studio execs. Several of these women later said they felt manipulated and humiliated when they discovered the truth. His scams weren't just financial. They were deeply psychological. He manipulated emotions, aspirations, and dreams, creating entire fictional futures for people, then vanishing with their money and trust. Gignac had become an expert manipulator. He wasn't just tricking businesses, he was tricking people. He gave lavish gifts, promised millions in investment returns, and played the long game. One investor said he strung them along for months, claiming delays in wire transfers, needing clearance from the Saudi embassy, and citing classified oil deals. In one instance, Gignac used a fake assistant to vet potential partners. If someone questioned his legitimacy, the assistant would call back pretending to be a State Department official or a private banker. He created fake websites for his shell companies. He even had a fake Saudi diplomatic license plate on his car to get out of parking tickets. His scams raked in millions. One victim alone handed over $5 million, thinking they were getting in on a royal-backed investment deal. He was so good at the act, even experienced investors fell for the charm. It was all part of his playbook. The illusion was everything. If you looked rich, sounded royal, and handed out enough shiny toys, no one asked questions. For Gignac, perception was reality, until it wasn't. By 2017, federal investigators were closing in. With Sofa's suspicions and private investigation reports in hand, the feds launched an undercover sting. Agents posed as potential partners in Gignac's fake investment ventures. They recorded meetings, collected forged documents, and watched him slip deeper into his lies. Gignac talked too much, bragged about knowing international leaders, and boasted about deals he clearly couldn't prove. In November 2017, they had what they needed. Gignac was arrested in his luxury condo. When agents raided the apartment, they found fake diplomatic documents, forged IDs, luxury watches, and designer goods, all purchased with stolen money. He even had business cards that claimed he was a Saudi prince, complete with an embossed gold seal. In total, he had defrauded victims out of more than $8 million. In 2019, Anthony Gignac was sentenced to over 18 years in federal prison for impersonating a foreign diplomat, fraud, identity theft, and conspiracy. The judge called it one of the most elaborate scams they'd ever seen. In 2022, officials in Jersey repatriated over $500,000 in funds tied to his scam back to U.S. authorities. So, who was Anthony Gignac? A con man with a flair for drama? A professional liar? Maybe. But at the heart of it, he was someone who understood just how powerful image could be. And in a world obsessed with wealth, all it took was the right accent, the right car, and the right lie to convince people to open their wallets. Thanks for watching The Hollywood Con. If you enjoyed this story, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for more unbelievable scams, frauds, and cons from the world of fame and fortune. Until next time, stay sharp, stay skeptical, and remember, not every prince is real, but every con has a crown.